I'll be there when you're down, when you're losing your crown, till the afterglow, the afterglow. Fading away, you look so great when you gotta shine. One more part of you is gone now, as you keep smiling at the crowd. Pressure is your best enemy, spotlights are what I wanna see. Sometimes it feels like you're under attack, you just can't break free. I'll be there when you're down, when you're losing your crown, till the afterglow, the afterglow. I'll be there when you fall, when you're losing it all, in the afterglow, in the afterglow. Whoa! It all started with the passion, it all sounded like a dream. Remember how you kept on laughing, now you're trapped in your own skin. The anxiety is growing.
Oh, geez. Might help if I had my mic unmuted. As I was saying, it's great to welcome to the Friday night Smackdown Security Detail. Smackdown is on live. We've got some great matches tonight lined up. We've got Cody Rhodes going to be making an appearance on the Grayson Waller effect. We got 6 women tag team action as Naomi, Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and they'll be taking on Blair Davenport, Alba Fyre Isla Dawn. The United States title will be on the line tonight when LA Knight defends his title against Santos Escobar. And tag team championship match as well. WWE Tag Team Titles on the line as Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga defend against the Street Profits. It's going to be a fantastic show. Glad to have you guys here with me, as right now we are looking at the demise of Roman Reigns from last week. Which saw Jacob Fatu come back, and they just right now we've got the Bloodline walking, making their way into the arena, and making their way. This was earlier today. And of course, they're coming to us live right now from Washington, D.C., the capital of the United States. And it looks like we're starting off with the Grayson Waller effect here. A-Town Down Under in the ring right now. Let's see what they've got to say. And of course, our WWE World Heavyweight, our WWE Undisputed Champion, I should say, making his way to the ring. That being one Cody Rhodes. Next Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern, Bash in Berlin. Oh, that's awesome, actually. So I've actually on my phone here. I've actually went to Instagram and I've got Grayson Waller doing the Waller effect there. And watching Austin Theory behind him is just friggin' funny, especially if you are over on Instagram watching, because he is totally playing up to Grayson Waller's camera right now. Cody Rhodes once again stirring the pot, as it were, as we are awaiting this potential breakup between Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. Of course, Grayson Waller had to play a video that showcased, KO's making his way to the ring, but they played a video package that showcased every time KO turned on somebody. And of course, there were multiple times where he turned on Sami Zayn. Jesus, Kevin Owens is, I don't know, man. Kevin Owens is something else, man. I love when he does promos like this. But right now, we've got him and Cody beating on Waller and Austin Theory. And Waller just shoved KO into Cody. I'm pretty sure Cody is aware of that. But right now, Nick Aldis also came out and announced that in tag team action and what will be the main event, Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens taking on Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. I kind of thought that the tag team title match was going to be our main event, but I'm guessing that's not going to be the case, period. Kind of nice to think of the bloodline as not being involved in the main event. It's not a bad thing, really. Meanwhile, speaking of champions, we've got our United States champion making his way to the ring, because up next, Santos Escobar takes on LA Knight for the United States title. Anybody in that chat, let me know who you've got taking this one. And right now, I'm still looking at the Grayson Waller effect. The live video has ended. That was awesome. That was awesome to see that. I might have to do that again. Yeah, you know what? I am going to go on Grayson Waller's Instagram and hit him up with a follow so that I can know when he actually goes live. And speaking of going live, we got ourselves a little bit of a run-in. You got to tilt your camera down a little bit, bro. There we go. Perfect.
How are we doing?
I'm a little annoyed at things today, but other than that, I'm doing good.
Okay.
My PS4 controller decided it was going to take a crap on me today and not charge. So,
Isn't that your new one?
the one I just bought 3 months ago. So I've got my older controllers. I'm charging those up, and I'm going to see if I can get those running, because I don't want to put our shows up in the air for this week, you know? But did you catch everything that just went down?
No, I literally tuned in just as they were announcing LA Knight going to face Santos Escobar.
Okay, so we just had the Waller effect with Cody Rhodes.
Okay.
They started talk. Well, they didn't even give Cody really much of a chance to talk. they showcased how KO just turns on everyone by showing a video package. KO then came out and said, look, Cody, I don't have any intentions of turning on you, which, come on, that's got to be BS with KO these days.
Right.
Then he's like, you know what, to skip over the formalities, to skip me getting in the ring and beating up you guys with Cody, and then Nick Aldis coming out and making a tag match. Why don't we just get Nick Aldis out here and make a tag match? So he called out Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis came out, said, okay, tonight, main event, tag team match, Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes against Waller in Theory. And then KO goes, do I still have time to get in the ring and beat them up? And Aldis is like, yep.
Oh,
but the awesome thing is, I actually went on, because Grayson Waller, as you know, does his thing when he does the Waller effect. He does it live to his social media accounts. Yeah. I actually, on my phone over here, I went on his Instagram to watch it at the same time. Nice. And it was actually really funny to see, because Austin Theory was just something else in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just watching him like coming up behind Grayson Waller and like making poses and things like that. It was awesome. It was funny. It was a great way to start off the show.
Okay.
On the positive side today, I got Bubba up and running with his capture card.
Yes. I am going to attempt again over the weekend to see if I can do anything with mine before I make the purchase as well of a new one.
Yeah.
And I did actually, I got up, I left earlier for work today and went to go and see if I could find a reasonably priced one elsewhere. So far, the only place I checked Walmart, they didn't have any.
Yeah, Walmart's a crapshoot when it comes to tech.
Best Buy, the cheapest I could find was $100.
Yeah, and we were there the other day, and all we saw was the Elgato's there. So
this was an Elgato.
Yeah, they have remember they had we saw the whole section that they had there.
Yeah.
LA Knight is making his way to the ring right now for what is probably going to be the match of the night, I think. Although this is actually a pretty friggin' stacked card tonight.
Right, because you've got the Bloodline versus the Street Profits for the tag belts. Now we've got A-Town Down Under versus Cody and KO.
United States title match coming up. We got 6 women action coming up.
Yeah.
I really like this card tonight.
So I don't know if you can really pick a match of the night. And so far, this being the first match on SmackDown, I am going to tell you I watched an absolute wrestling clinic last night as I was watching Impact Wrestling with No Quarter Catch Crew's Charlie Dempsey.
Yeah.
Against Jonathan Gresham.
I had heard that they were supposed to be taking on one another.
What a match.
All the more reason for me to find a way to be able to afford to subscribe to AEW. Fuck that. No, I'm not doing anything AEW. To subscribe to TNA's Impact Plus so that I can watch their program. Because again, I'd rather subscribe to Impact Plus and then I can get their pay-per-views and all that stuff as opposed to paying the $15 for the Fight Network and only getting Impact once a week. I was thinking about that not too long ago, and I actually miss when subscribing to the Fight Network used to only cost $2.
Right.
One of the things I'm wondering about this match is, are Santos Escobar's boys going to be hanging around ringside there?
Well, I think we're about to find out. The way it looked as though they were potentially getting ready to head back.
Well, Berto and Angel are standing on the apron right now, and the woman I always forget the woman's name, so
Elektra Lopez.
that's it. And the reason I forget her most of the time is because like she was barely around NXT, because I only remember like a couple matches on Level Up, and then suddenly she's on the main roster. You know.
I do remember her on NXT. I remember her having a women's championship match. I don't remember against who.
Oh, look at that! During the ring introductions, they already made their presence felt. Sorry, if I'm a little ahead there.
You are.
Now, if I'm Jessica Carr, who's the official of this match, I'm throwing Berto and Angel out of the match.
Yep. Elektra Lopez was even paired with Lola Vice for a little while on NXT.
Yeah, see, for me, I don't necessarily remember that, because like the earliest I actually remember Lola Vice is the stuff with Shayna Baszler a couple months back. So,
okay. Yeah, and Elektra was with Legato in NXT no, she wasn't, because they had Zelina Vega with them. But that's when it was Zelina Vega, Joaquin Wilde, and Cruz del Toro as LDF.
I was gonna say, Santos Escobar kind of counting out our experienced wrestler in LA Knight, but I forgot that Santos is in his 40s too and has been around the business a bit.
Yes. In fact, and I could be wrong, I don't remember, but I believe they even had a match when they were both in Impact as Eli Drake and El Hijo del Fantasma.
It's very possible, because I believe their times in TNA were not that far apart.
And it would be interesting to see if we potentially start to see some main roster crossover.
Mm-hmm.
Which I know has been teased for TNA's Bound for Glory at the end of October.
Yeah. I mean, Joe Hendry, he's teased wanting to fight wrestlers on the main roster, so.
As has Moose. But, and I believe I shared it in our group chat, when they initially announced, the day before, the Wednesday right before Impact, where they made the announcement on TV, there was, in the Bound for Glory logo, if you look at the first O, it was kind of done in a blue and black circle with the letter P and the number 1.
We haven't seen AJ since after the first Saudi show for this year.
Yeah. AJ was supposed to return, I believe, last week, but they felt that it wasn't going to be the right fit.
Mm-hmm.
Or it might have been 2 weeks ago. I don't remember.
Well, right now, the way things are going, I can't see where he fits into any of the stories at the moment.
You know what? I could see him being a viable contender for LA Knight.
Yeah, but given right now that we've got LA and Santos doing their thing, unless AJ shows up after this match, because I feel like this is just going to be a little bit of a one-off until, I don't know.
I mean, let's not forget, AJ and LA also teased that rivalry that, yes, did culminate in the Intercontinental Championship match earlier this year, but there was never really a payoff to that.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I want to pose to you is, even though we are seeing Randy Orton on Raw because he's got the World Heavyweight Championship match coming up,
Yeah.
do we start to see a little bit more, I don't want to call it a crossover, but talent working on other shows because of the new TV deals coming into play very soon? And are the networks trying to gauge who they may want on their respective shows?
I could see that because, again, when Fox had the deal with SmackDown, they wanted Roman Reigns exclusively on SmackDown for that.
Yes.
Now that
And
this deal with Fox is done, I feel like we could see Roman go to Raw and have a match. Or, you know what I mean?
I have heard that Netflix wants Roman Reigns and the OG bloodline.
I could see that. I could see that happening. I'm just not sure if I'm ready for the Usos to reunite.
Yeah, we still kind of need some payoff to that from WrestleMania.
Yeah. Oh, Solo's going to be addressing Roman later tonight. So he's going to be addressing the attack that happened to Roman last week. But meanwhile, we've got ourselves an awesome match between these two gentlemen.
Yes, we do. And I mean, we didn't expect any less out of these two.
No. To be fair, this is something I've been thinking about a lot lately. If last year you would have came to me and said Santos Escobar is going to challenge LA Knight for the Intercontinental or the US title, I would have believed that LA Knight would have been the US champion, but I don't think I would have believed that Santos would have been challenging.
I think I could have seen him getting that. I mean, even now, probably a token title match.
Mm-hmm.
But as a viable contender, no.
Yeah, and
now
right now
he's a viable contender.
Yeah.
Even though I do believe that this is his token match.
Yeah, but something tells me that even after this match, Escobar's going to be like, hey, I want another match, you know? Actually,
I
now that I'm
completely agree with you.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm curious as to how many matches are on the Bash and Berlin card as of this moment.
Orton Gunther, Terror Twins versus Judgment Day.
I hate that name, the Terror Twins, you know?
That's what they wanted.
I know, but it sounds like it sounds like two characters from a children's novel.
and Cody versus KO that I can think of offhand.
Okay, so on the card is Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill challenging the Unholy Union for the women's tag titles. Punk and Drew in a strap match.
Okay.
The mixed tag team match. Rhodes and KO for the heavyweight or the undisputed title, and for the world heavyweight, Gunther and Randy Orton. So there's space for at least one or two more matches there that we could possibly see. Maybe.
Yep.
If Santos is not successful here, we see him maybe challenge LA for a U.S. title match at the show, maybe. I don't know.
I think 5 matches, especially given that Drew versus Punk in a strap match is going to be at least I'm going to say 45 minutes.
Gunther and Orton is probably going to go about that long, too.
Yeah.
And possibly KO and Cody Rhodes. And speaking of championships, we just got the finish for this match.
Yes, we did.
But I mean, this was expected. LA Knight's was gonna retain.
Yep.
One thing I noticed during that match, and I kind of had to laugh at it, but it looked a little weird seeing Wade Barrett kind of like flinching as LA Knight was attacking him by the commentators table. Because in my brain, I still see Wade Barrett as the former pro wrestler, you know?
Right. And he has announced that he is cleared and willing to compete if it's the right situation.
Maybe we got a Royal Rumble spot out of him.
Maybe, but I think he's much like Corey Graves. He is happy doing what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Although, again, I have heard it teased that he could reform the Nexus with Drew at the helm.
Reform the League of Nations.
Oh, God.
What a. I'm sorry. That stable was good in concept, but executed poorly.
Yes.
Mello and Andrade. And of course, this is based off of Mello costing Andrade the number one contendership match last week.
Yes.
Which again, this is all laying down the list of potential guys for LA Knight to challenge. And at some point, we're probably going to get Mello in LA for the United States title.
Yep. Just another heads up. When I was at Walmart earlier today, the studio lights that I bought are now half of what I paid for them. I paid close to $50 and they're down to $20.
They look like the same lights that Carl got.
Very similar, except mine doesn't have a remote.
Yeah. Well, given everything that happened with my controller, I'm going to be in that area on Friday. I am still going to send this off because it is still within the 90-day warranty to get it repaired. It's not going to cost me a thing, but I'm still going to buy a new controller. This is now going to be a backup controller, and that's not a bad thing. So the thing is, they told me when I go to send it off, it's going to be 7 to 10 business days for it to repair. So I can't wait that long for our shows, you know?
No.
That's too long for me.
Yes.
But I do have backup controllers that don't quite work, but I'll figure out a way to get them to work.
Right. For those that are wondering what happened to the Boar's Nest last night, Bubba was still working. Best was exhausted. I was exhausted. So Bubba and I have decided we are going to move the Boar's Nest to Sunday evening this week.
Yeah. I wanted to do it, but I wanted to do it provided I had somebody with me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was running a massive migraine. And no word of a lie, when I got finished texting you, I crashed out. I didn't get up till 1:30 this afternoon.
Nice.
Or no. When did Bubba text me? Whenever I responded to Bubba, because he texted me at like 11 o'clock this morning. So,
Wow.
10 to 1 when I responded back to him.
Wow.
That's how bad, like, it was a migraine that was making me very exhausted. And I know that I could have had some of my special flour to help with that, but
Yeah.
that sleep is what I needed.
Yep. No, I decided to, after Bubba and I decided I was watching Impact, and I missed most of the first hour because I could barely keep my eyes open on the couch.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I ended up doing was, I'm like, you know what? I don't feel like gaming right now. I usually when I do that, I'll turn on YouTube and I'll watch some of my favorite gamers on YouTube.
Right.
And I turned on Neebs Gaming. A shout out to those boys again. They're my favorite ones. They're the funniest ones I can find. And next thing you know, I'm like out like a light. I still heard them in my dream. I ended up dreaming about some of the stuff that they were doing in the games that they were playing. But no, I was done.
Yep, and there are times you need those nights. I know
Yeah.
I went to I knew I had a little bit of leeway so that I was able to stay up to watch the replay of Impact from 11 to 1
Right.
because I didn't have to be at work until 11 this morning. And the problem is that even though I went to bed after Impact, I then was not ready to crash
Mm-hmm.
because I had that hard time for that hour keeping my eyes open. And I have to admit, I even had a hard time my last hour at work tonight from 7 till 8 keeping my eyes open.
Was it busy there today?
No.
Huh.
It was steady, but not busy.
Speaking of that, actually, so for everyone who knows, in my real life, I don't have a shoot job, but OMD here has been trying to help me get a shoot job. My employment counselor, I told them about the application to your shoot job.
Right.
They actually reached out to your boss and spoke to them for me.
Okay.
And he gave back the information that I got to wait till September to see what the schedule is like. That's what that's what the information was that I got today.
Yes, because we are waiting for the one guy to get his school schedule.
Yeah.
But that's going to be coming like within this week.
Yeah, that's what I came to the conclusion of, because I remembered like when we were driving around town, you told me the same thing.
Yes. And I will tell you this because I've already been asked for a reference.
Well, I'm using you as my reference, regardless of the shoot jobs I go for. So
that was exactly like they said, what do you know about him? And I told them, and I said, look, he's going to bust his ass because it's me.
I'm going to bust my ass regardless, though, like, because I'm desperate for a shoot job right now. Oh. Oh, geez. So I get a feeling there's going to be a tag team match somewhere down the road with those five gentlemen involved. But we just saw Apollo Crews and Baron Corbin on our screen talking with Legado del Fantasma. That's what OMD is looking at right now. But right now I'm seeing Jade Cargill making her way to the ring. You're muted, brother. You're still muted.
I was looking at it and was trying to listen to it.
I
But
had to laugh at something, though.
But I couldn't hear what Baron Corbin or Apollo had to say.
Looked like they were just. I couldn't hear either because I was too distracted by Baron Corbin's shirt based off something I did today because of that shirt. He was wearing a Night of the Living Dead shirt, an original George A. Romero shirt from Night of the Living Dead. Nice. I watched that movie this afternoon.
Wow.
It's one of my favorite classic horror films.
I now have Jade making her way to the ring, and now Naomi.
And Bianca.
Something's thrown me off with this entrance because Jade and Bianca are supposed to be the tag team, so why are they having one first and one third?
I don't know. To be fair, it's a little different that they're not wearing the same type of gear this week. Usually they are, but Jade Cargill looks like she just got off the set of American Gladiators with the outfit she's wearing right now.
Yep. I can see a little bit of coordination because there is a little bit of pink in Bianca's gear and a little bit of blue in Jade's.
Speaking of American Gladiators, YouTube decided to randomly recommend me an episode of it on last night, so I turned one on, and little did I know the episode they recommended me was the one that Rico competed on.
Wow.
So I'm like, yep, gonna watch this one.
Yep.
And I kind of forgot just how athletically good Rico was. Despite the characters he was given, he was actually really good.
Yes, he was.
And how fitting that they recommended one with Rico in it, giving his relationship to the Samoan dynasty, you know?
Yep.
Not saying that he was related to them, but I mean, he was the manager for 3 Minute Warning.
Yes, he was. Bianca's ponytail looks like it's even longer than normal.
I think you might be right on that one. I know she trims it every once in a while. But there's a little bit of an extra pep in her step with Bianca tonight. I kind of like it.
There is.
Yeah, so the broken part of my controller is the charging port, obviously.
Yep.
Because I've tried everything else to see if everything else on the controller is working. It's just the charging port.
Now, I'm going to ask, is it an authentic PlayStation controller or is it a knockoff?
Oh, it's authentic. I don't buy anything knockoff for controllers or anything like that anymore.
Okay.
I learned that the hard way with Mad Cats and their fucking cheap ass controllers.
Right.
I don't trust anything knockoff when it comes to my consoles now. It's lucky, though, that I discovered it as early as I did now, because now I can start pooling aside money for that, for a new controller.
Right.
Just kind of wish I discovered it within the 30-day return so that I could have just, hopped on the bus to Best Buy and just got a new controller.
Right.
Which now makes me think that maybe, just maybe, I'll put aside the money as well and buy the 2-year extra warranty on it.
Yep.
Maybe I will do that. I'll have to figure out what my money situation is for Friday.
Right.
Friday's my payday, so.
Right. Well, while we are in commercial and about to hear from our buddy, our pal Scott Stanford.
Yeah, and I'm there. He's promoting the Edmonton Smackdown and the the Calgary Raw, which is just a couple of weeks away.
It is. But while we are in this, I'm going to go for a locker room visit.
All right. And if you want some information on where you can buy yourself a T-shirt with the OMD locker room visit stuff on there, you can go there. Where is it? You can do that by visiting carlcarafel.redbubble.com. We are back to the action right now. We're seeing that Wheatley American vodka promoted. I think that's Cody's vodka, if I'm not mistaken. Or, I don't know. Anyways, Blair Davenport's now in the ring here, and she's actually like grown on me substantially since coming to the main roster. And I'm now, I said this last week, I can now officially say I am a fan of her work. I really am enjoying the things that she's doing right now. I'm enjoying the stuff that she's done in the locker room. I'm enjoying this pairing right now that she has with Alba Fyre and Isla Dawn. As we have OMD back. I was just remarking to everyone just how much of a fan I've become of Blair Davenport since her main roster debut.
Yes.
I've finally made that turn. It took me a long time, but I've made that turn.
You know what? I was a fan of hers even when she was all empty. But then when she went to NXT UK, I did like her. And then all of a sudden, after they did the whole thing with Worlds Collide and she disappeared, there was nothing. So I did watch her when she came back to NXT, but then it was just the beatdowns in the parking lot and very little in way of in-ring action.
And that's why I had a hard time becoming a fan of hers, because I very, very vaguely remember her time in All Elite.
Right.
And I very vaguely remember her time in NXT UK. I didn't really watch NXT UK as much as I wanted to.
Right.
But that's why I had a hard time, because, again, when she came to the regular NXT, all I saw was her doing locker room stuff, and I'm like, okay, when are we going to get a match out of her? And whenever we got a match out of her, I saw like what everybody else was talking about, but I still wasn't certain if I was a fan of hers or not,
right. Right. And I mean, like I said too, a lot of it was, she was the mystery woman behind the sneak attacks that took out Sol Ruka, that took out Nikita Lyons, that put so many others on the shelf, supposedly. I mean, storyline wise, yes, but.
Mm-hmm. But now that, like, again, I kind of figured that it was going to happen if she went to the main roster, I'd probably be more of a fan of hers. Now that she's here and I'm seeing her more and more, it's every week I'm becoming more and more of a fan of hers. And like I said, I'm officially like a fan of hers, and I want to see more out of her.
Right. And I think if they were to introduce a secondary women's title, she'd be
a prime candidate for it.
She would.
Speaking of like secondary titles, because we basically right now the women's tag titles is considered a secondary women's tag titles.
Yep.
I kind of like the fact that since Alba Fyre and Isla Dawn have won the titles, that they're legitimately going around to all the brands and
Yes.
defending the titles. I like that they're reinforcing that fact. And to be
Yes.
fair, if they actually do introduce a secondary singles women's title, I kind of would like to see it defended on both Raw and SmackDown, and not have a secondary title for Raw, a secondary title for SmackDown, because that's to me, that's too many titles.
Right. And I get exactly where you're coming from with that.
Mm-hmm.
I think you would be okay. And I mean, don't get me wrong, because yes, I know I called Kalani Jordan to win it. I don't think she's ready to do it, but I would be okay if you defended the NXT Women's North American title on all shows. But I don't think Kalani is the one to do that.
No, that's where I suppose if you wanted to, that's where you would have somebody like maybe Roxanne Perez do it. And I know Roxanne's got the NXT Women's title right now.
Yep. No, I know exactly where you're going with that. I was going to suggest that name. I was also going to suggest JC Jane
Mm-hmm.
or even a Gigi Dolan.
Where is Gigi right now? She hurt or something?
No, they just have nothing for her.
There's the finish. That was actually a really good 6-woman tag.
Well, got the finish. I got to say this. Naomi needed the win.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm glad that they gave the pin to Naomi,
Um,
because Jade and Bianca, they don't need that.
no, they don't. Naomi needed the pin. Naomi needed the win.
And
I actually had
I'm
I
also glad.
actually had that match going the other way with Naomi taking the pin.
Yeah, I'm actually glad though, and I know like I've been remarking how much I've enjoyed her work lately. I'm actually glad it was Bianca that took the win, or I mean, Belair that took the pin. Oh my god.
Blair?
Yeah, thank you, Blair. I'm glad that Blair took the pinfall and not the champions.
Yeah. I mean, that was who this match revolved around, anyways, was Naomi and Blair. It was just.
Yeah. But looks like we're getting Solo addressing the Roman situation from last week coming up next.
Okay. So, from what I read earlier today, and even after last week's situation, Roman will not be back until SmackDown moves to the USA Network to sell the injuries.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense because it was Jacob Fatu who just completely obliterated him
Yes.
last week.
And from what I read today, Roman's going to have some backup on that episode.
Well, we're counting down the days till when Jimmy can come back.
Guess who the backup is?
It's Jimmy. Because Jimmy's due back any time now, you know?
Yep.
That just looks like complete deliciousness. Mm. I'm actually very excited for these Calgary and Edmonton shows coming up.
You and me both. Because we know that those are hot crowds.
Yeah.
And we know that our boy Parrish will be there.
He's going to be at the Edmonton one. He
Yes.
refuses to go to Calgary, so and that's understandable.
It is, but I mean, there's a big difference between going into your opposing team's barn for wrestling as opposed to a hockey game. I would, if it was me, I'd be trying to do both.
Yeah, I mean, like we were talking about off screen, just hanging out there. I would go to Boston and catch a Boston Bruins game.
Yep.
I would go to the Scotiabank Arena and catch a Maple Leafs game.
I've been to Ottawa for a Leafs game.
Yeah.
I would happily go to Montreal.
Because it's all about, for me, it's all about the experience, right?
Exactly.
Oh, they're showcasing when they did Raw in Germany back in '96, and they're showing when Brett did they did a little documentary about Brett's time there, and I remember it very well. And then March 3rd, 97, when they went there for Raw, which I believe that was the European title tournament. Which featured a fantastic final between Bulldog and Owen.
Yes, it did. But would you expect anything less from Bulldog and Owen?
No, and speaking of Owen and speaking of Bulldog. No, Bulldog and Owen tore the house down that night. I remember that match like very well. And they didn't tape just this one episode. They taped a few episodes of Raw.
Yes.
That time. I might have to go on the network once it hits Netflix to find that episode of Raw again.
Right?
And I say once it hits Netflix because I can watch it on my phone, but there's just something different about watching wrestling on a TV as opposed to watching it on a phone. And we've got Chris Parrish coming in saying hello. How's it going, Parrish? Glad to have you here.
What's going on, brother? Thank you for joining us.
All right, Solo's making his way to the ring.
Okay, I'm not there yet. I'm still in this
promo package. Yeah.
Now I'm getting Solo.
Or maybe we're getting the wait.
We're probably going to get Solo and then the tag title match.
Just saw a sign in the crowd that said Doinks on a mission or greater than the bloodline. Doinks on a mission, of course, was when Men on a Mission and the Bushwhackers played the Four Doinks at the 93 Survivor Series against Bam Bam and his team, which I think was Bam Bam Bigelow, Bastion Booger, and the Head Drinkers, if I'm not mistaken. Which again featured the late Alpha at ringside for that one.
Yes. All right, I'm going to mute so I can hear this.
Man, the heat Solo is getting right now.
Well, I got to say this. Solo's mic work has drastically improved.
I kind of liked the hesitation in Jacob Fatu in forfeiting the tag titles.
I did too, but I've also heard that they are going to use the Freebird rule.
Yeah, but
I wonder.
if I'm Jacob, I'm pissed off that you know what I mean, that I had to do that.
I am too. But you have to wonder, does that put Jacob maybe as a guy to challenge LA Knight and get a singles title? Or does that become maybe a spot for Tonga when Hikuleo makes his debut? So I will tell you this. I took your advice today. We tried Hunger Point for lunch.
Yeah.
Better than Domino's. It is something I would eat again. It's not something that I would rush out to go and buy again.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't horrible.
One of my favorite things is that when they say you're getting an extra large and you get an extra large box and the pizza is not full, that's a piss off. Hunger Point
Right.
doesn't do that.
No, I ordered a large and it was a large.
Yeah. It's wall to wall pizza, essentially, in that box.
Yeah.
And it's reasonably priced.
Yes.
And to me it's delicious.
Yeah.
Now, of course, I'm probably saying that for convenience because obviously Hunger Point's right across the street from me.
Yes.
Make up your mind, Pepper. What are you doing? She's standing right here on my lap right now. See?
Hi, Pepper.
She's trying to figure out where she wants to go. Seamus Ireland getting Ireland ready for college game day. I was sitting there wondering, like, why is James getting ready for college game day in Ireland? And I'm like, oh, right, one of the college games is going to be taking place in Ireland,
Yep.
which I might actually go get back into watching because I used to watch a lot of NCAA football.
Okay, dude, your voice has gone like really hollow and echoey.
Okay, hang on one second. All right, how am I sounding? All right, bell sounds. We are on our way for tag team action, and once again I'm liking this ringside camera here.
Yes, and we got an open challenge from LA Knight for Bash in Berlin.
AJ Styles, Giovanni Vinci. We're still waiting for him to debut. He's been doing vignettes.
Yes, I saw the vignette last week. I haven't seen one yet tonight.
Hell, that's part of that deal. Kaiser.
Right?
There's a list of dudes that can definitely step up. I kind of figured they were going to do something with LA Knight because given the way his star is rising right now, you kind of want to put him on almost all of your PLEs.
Yes.
I mean, maybe we even see Logan Paul make a return.
That's where I was going with it. But yeah, I could see Kaiser. I could see Vinci. You know, if we were under contract, I would even say OMD, but
Dude, if I had the money to go to Berlin, I so would go.
right?
So already showing the results here. LA Knight defeating Santos Escobar to retain the U.S. title. The 6-woman tag, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi defeating Alba Fyre Isla Dawn and Blair Davenport. And right now we've got this this tag title match, which I've been looking forward to all week, because I was actually kind of curious about how the Street Profits would fit in with this whole fight for the tag team titles with the Bloodline. Because to me, right now, they don't really have an argument as in this, other than winning the number one contendership last week.
Right.
To me, it still would have made sense if DIY won last week.
Right. I think it's just, again, to elevate the tag division.
Mm-hmm.
But as we saw earlier with the U.S. title match, and I'm going to say it, it's going to be the token tag title match for the Street Profits.
Or maybe this is the first match to build a rivalry, and then we suddenly and then the Street Profits are involved in this situation in some way.
Right.
Or perhaps we see DIY make their presence felt in this match, and it somehow leads to a triple threat match for the tag team titles.
I could see that, but I don't see it happening until after the match, to be honest. I think there's enough camaraderie between DIY and the Profits.
Mm-hmm.
I am wondering if we maybe see the debut of Hikuleo tonight. Not counting on it, but I'm wondering if we see the Profits really start to seize control of the match.
Yeah.
To really give them a little more strength in numbers.
You mentioned earlier about Roman possibly coming with backup, and that being Jimmy Uso, but what if it actually is Hikuleo coming to help Roman?
It could very well be.
That's what I'm loving. Again, I've said this before, but that's what I'm loving about being in the Hunter era of wrestling, is that it's a little hard to predict what's going to happen.
Yes. Yeah, because these storylines are so slow burning.
Yeah. And very intricately woven,
Yes.
Almost to the point where it's like you have to pay attention and to understand what's going on. And that's, that's how it was in the Attitude Era. We had to pay attention to everything that was going on.
Yes.
The only thing that we're still sort of missing is those show long storylines, like the time Vince McMahon, Austin took McMahon hostage because he wanted to try and get a WWE contract.
Yep.
And it took all episode before Vince finally agreed to it.
Yes. But you know what? Some of those stories, and I mean, you look back on them now, and I mean, to do what, like, the way they did that one with then Shane saying, "Yes, Austin, I signed you to your contract."
Yeah.
After he did the pistol with the bang 316 flag to have Vince wet himself.
But it kept you intrigued for that 2 hours, right?
It did, but I mean, now you look back on it as we're grown, and it's like you're trying to get a cheap laugh. You weren't even trying to get a cheap pop. You were trying to get a cheap laugh out of that.
I still laugh every time I watch that, though.
And it was the same thing with the Vince McMahon Kiss My Ass Club.
Yeah. I hated that, especially when they forced JR to do it.
Yep.
Well, I shouldn't say that Vince did force JR, because The Undertaker actually did. Because they decided they were going to turn Taker heel for whatever reason, even though around that time he was pretty much one of the hottest baby faces.
Yep.
Man, Angelo Dawkins, man, with that agility. He's everything Top Dollar couldn't be.
Right?
And I'm not knocking AJ Francis in any way, because I've heard that he's made some improvement since moving over to TNA. But not a hell of a lot.
No. Yes, he's won a belt, but you still never see him wrestle.
I mean, the last match I actually saw him in was, I don't even know if you would really call it a match, but the stuff he did with Joe Hendry.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that a match.
And that angle was more so to help Joe Hendry get over more.
Yeah.
But I kind of got to laugh because, like, again, like Angelo Dawkins has come leaps and bounds. But I remember some years ago that people were talking that, and they were saying that if they ever were to split up the Street Profits, that Montez Ford would be the star. Now I kind of both see them both being the star if they both were to ever split up.
I could absolutely see it. I didn't like Dawkins' character when he was alone in NXT before the Street Profits, when he was like one man on an island or on the one man island.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he's really grown on me. So we've got our run in Parrish coming in, I believe.
I believe so. If he wants to make his run, and he can. Trying to look for where my phone went. I think Pepper must have knocked it down somewhere. But meanwhile, we've got the Street Profits getting their asses kicked right now by the Bloodline after having lost the tag title match. So I'm wondering if the... Hey, yep, here they come. DIY. Oh, looking for my phone, and it's on my holder.
Oh, jeez. Mr. Parrish, would you like to perform your run-in duties?
Saying 1 minute. Ow.
I will not acknowledge you, so don't put up the one for me. I will not acknowledge you, Parrish.
Now DIY's getting their asses kicked. Okay, I can kind of see now why Solo told Jacob Fatu to hand over the tag titles. He's still nursing the injury.
Yes. Yeah, he had the walking boot on in the ring earlier.
I didn't even notice it then. Hey, how's it going, Parrish?
What's going
Not
on,
too
brother?
bad, are you?
Oh, we're all right.
Patience. Patience is a virtue.
I have no patience.
I know, that's why you have no MD. But there you go. Delayed reaction. Love it.
Well, so I believe that this is going to lead to a triple threat match for the tag team titles at some point.
I believe you're correct, sir.
Or an 8-man tag match.
I was going to say it's going to be an 8-man tag.
We are getting
Mitch-
closer and closer to a War Games, so could it not just lead to that?
That's true, too.
You guys notice that KO now wears the black and red shirts now?
Yep.
Yep, even though he's on SmackDown.
Because he did have blue for a while.
He did.
Could we be looking into something here?
Could he be a part of that trade-off between Pierce and Aldis, or is he turning on Cody, which we all suspect is going to happen?
I don't think he needs to actually do a full-blown heel turn because even though he's a baby face, he's still in that tweener stage where that's the way he treats his character.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's actually going to turn heel. I don't think you really need him to turn heel at this point.
No, I for once kind of see like a respect match between the two. Like they're gonna have the match. They're gonna come out shaking hands still, you know.
Well, and you have to think, like, who's going to comprise of this War Games if it is Bloodline?
This is true.
And who does Hikuleo side with when he comes in? Because if he sides with Team Solo, that means there's two people that Roman would need in the excess of the expected Usos.
Mm-hmm.
And one could be Cody. Another could be KO.
And it would make sense for Cody, given that it is War Games is Dusty's creation.
I don't think that matters anymore.
No, but it's that subtle reference. You know what I mean?
Sure, but you can also say War Games can have a different thing because, like, say, like, okay, like Io Sky has been in every War Games match since they brought it back.
Yeah.
Inside. So is Io a guarantee to be in there because she's been in everyone now?
That's hard to say at this point with her, though. And if
All
she
I'm
is,
saying
she's
is,
probably
like,
going to do. Yeah.
It could be
If
nice
she
to
is-
have a different aspect of it other than just, hey, it's Cody's dad's creation. Maybe Cody
Yeah.
defends the title at War Games and we have a War Games match in separation of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because even though it was Dusty's creation, every time there was a War Games match and Dusty was on the card, didn't mean he was in the War Games match.
Right. You don't need to have.
Ooh, I thought of something. What if Cody comprises of a team, and if Cody loses, the captain of the other team becomes the new champion? He puts his title on the line in a War Games match, which means if his team wins, he retains the title. But if his team loses, whoever scores the fall or whoever is the team captain becomes the new
Right.
champion.
Yeah. I mean, the last time that a heavy world title was defended in a War Games match, and I don't even consider it a War Games match, but when they did that triple threat or that triple cage War Games on Nitro there.
Yeah, but that was.
Yeah, that was not War Games.
Yeah.
They called it War Games, but I don't call it War Games.
It was a triple cage.
Yeah, because it was in the movie Ready to Rumble too.
Yeah.
I don't even know where my phone is, Ross. I will check it right now.
In 2000, it was called War Games 2000 with the tagline Russo's Revenge. WCW World Heavyweight title was on the line in the three-tiered cage match.
I think we can take anything Russo did and just strike it from anything that actually made sense.
Yeah. That's why I don't call it War Games, because it wasn't.
Even now, Vince Russo to me has fallen into the same category as a Meltzer and a Jim Cornette.
Well, I put Meltzer and Cornette above Russo.
I put Dave Meltzer in a cold, like, ice, like, freezer, and, like, I will just shut the door. That's what I... And I'll give that 5 stars, too.
I give it 7. Just for you, Parrish, I'll give it 7.
Why does Byron always look uncomfortable when he's doing his job?
I have no idea. I noticed that too, though. Because we're getting ourselves a little bit of a promo package from Meechin right now. We haven't even seen the women's champion, Nia Jax, on the show tonight.
I just saw her.
As soon as I said it, I seen her in the package show up.
Anybody else think Meechin just looks like the older sister to Wendy Chu?
I honestly thought this was a Wendy Chu promo at first. Like when they were filming her from behind, and I thought it was Wendy Chu right off the bat.
You had to say the term "from behind," right?
Yep, I did. And now she's live in her arena finally. It is time for our main event.
And we got a street fight next week.
Yes, we do.
Meechin and Nia Jax.
I know that's your screen playing their best.
Yeah, probably is.
I know OMD's behind like a little bit, and I have my TV on mute, but everything just went in pure unison right there. It was
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot to turn it down after the Nia Jax promo.
OMD, here's your shot, man. He always gives you a hard time. The openings I give you sometimes.
No, OMD knows I'm not having the grandest of days today.
No.
I'm not a happy camper right now.
No, he's not.
My PS4 controller that I just bought like 2 months ago busted on me today.
Right.
Well, your first mistake was going PlayStation. Yeah.
So now on Friday I have to go and buy a new one. So I'm using I'm trying to charge one of my older, more broken ones to see if I can use those for the games.
Older, more broken one.
Well, it still holds a charge, but the right stick on it has that same drift problem that your Xbox controller does.
Oh, anytime I have like the actual like an actual Xbox controller, and you play like any of the hockey games, and you put a lot of pressure on the throttle, like it's just annoying.
Yeah,
but that's why like I've always, not gonna lie, I have never been a throttle person when it came to controllers. I always thought that they were kind of annoying. And you know who I can thank for that? PlayStation.
Yeah, because we, well, actually Nintendo started it, but
yeah,
PlayStation attempted to perfect it.
You did more of like this than you did of like pushing on it.
Yeah.
You just got the blister in the palm of your hand. And
you got to stop blaming Nintendo, because the next thing you know, you're going to blame Sega and TurboGrafx 16 as well.
No, I never had that.
And they never had the joystick controller option, so.
Yeah.
Well, they did if you bought certain third-party controllers, but.
Yes.
I think a lot of third-party controllers had that.
Yeah.
Besides, like the old Sega controllers, those were like perfect.
Yep, those were great those were great for sports games.
Even the N64 one.
Yep.
Actually. This guy right here.
There you go.
Yeah.
Where did I put that phone of mine? Oh, yay. My updates are finally done. What a wicked time for that to happen.
Updates on your PC or whatever?
Yeah, one of my computers are Like, really? Wow. Buddy, that guy's a really boring actor, eh? Michael Cera.
He,
That was one of the worst Uber Eats commercials I've ever seen.
yeah. Although I did like him in This Is the End, but then again, he gets killed like 10 minutes into that movie. So
The only thing I know about that movie is that during right before its premiere, I was going into Vancouver to Vegas for the Cauliflower Alley Club. I was on a search looking for a monster. I went up the elevator or escalator, and I saw Seth Rogen come out of the bathroom. So I got a picture because Vince Nevada badly wanted us to get a lot of celebrity involvement because he was starting the CNWA at the time and wanted it to be a social media success.
yeah,
So not even 5 minutes after a buddy did a meet and greet with Mike Tyson, but had that awkward, he's on the other side of a table, so he's leaning over and doing the fist thing. Yeah. I have a legit photo of Seth Rogen and myself right beside each other. And it's like personal one. I got a text. It's like, really? It's like, I just thought I hit a home run with Mike Tyson, and then you just completely smack it out of the park. It's like, yeah, and I didn't even pay for it, so that's great. In fact, his terminal was like right beside mine, so we just ended up chilling for 45 minutes.
Nice.
Before he had to go on his flight. I believe it's now his wife who was the one who took the photo.
Yeah.
But yeah, very easy. Guy to talk to, actually.
I've always, like, just watching, like, his interviews, I've always got a very friendly vibe off of him.
See, I was iffy. I wasn't sure if he was your typical, he came off nice and could be, like, secretly kind of an a-hole.
Yeah.
But then it was like, no, you meet him, and he was like, nice. Also, like, I wasn't, like, rude. And I was like, I was like, because I was just in my own head, I'm like, looking for a monster. And like sometimes I'll just like, if I'm that bored and I'm by myself, I'll just like sing what I'm doing, like as a joke.
Yeah.
And then I look over and I'm like, this is not a monster. And then he had a laugh, and I was like, and then it took me that time, like, Jesus, I'm like, holy, Seth Rogen. Because what I tried not to do is like, oh my God, you're Seth Rogen. It's like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
But it was like the last thing I was expecting too. It's also when I kind of realized airports were more rock star type places. Yeah.
This is going to be a great tag match here between these four men. So earlier tonight, they had the Waller effect with Cody Rhodes there, Parrish. And I actually decided to go on Grayson Waller's Instagram to see what it looked like, what the Waller effect looked like from his camera's point of view. Oh, yeah. And watching Austin Theory just mug for the camera while Grayson Waller's doing his thing was just friggin' hilarious to see.
Oh, yeah. That's like one of the best things that he does is the interactiveness. Yeah. And I think that's why, like, he always has that reaction, regardless of what people really think of him in the ring or not. Because I think it's fair to say that, like, even when he was called up, his in-ring quality was definitely not as up to speed as his promo skills.
Yeah.
However, as I know I've said before, if you're good on the mic, you have a longer lifespan in WWE than most people because that is where you need to be excellent on if you're going to be a top star.
Oh yeah, 100% agree.
Yep.
And then now you give it time, and Grayson Waller's in ring. Like, he bumps very well. His timing is really well.
Yeah.
He's a little too giving, I think, at times. I would like to see a little bit more aggression.
Right.
But he also plays to the fans, and he also has a very good
He's got a very strong social media game.
no, yeah, well that, but I'm just talking more about his like in-ring ability.
Yeah.
Like his facials are fantastic. His ability to kind of tell a story with his body in the match is actually pretty well. Which is something, if you've heard Adam Pearce on Chris Van Vliet, he said people need to learn to tell a story with this when they wrestle.
And honestly, who better to learn it from than a guy like Austin Theory who has perfected that game, you know?
You mean Adam Pearce?
No, I was talking about the relationship between Waller and Theory, so. But no, Adam Pearce too, so.
I wouldn't say, I don't think Austin Theory's facials are, I don't think they're as good, to be honest. I think his all-around skill set is just better than Grayson Waller.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's safe to say Waller is better than him in promos, but when it comes to in-ring, he has the edge, and I think the gap between the in-ring is far greater than what it is on the promo side.
Right.
Because Austin Theory is still a great promo. He's just not better than Grayson Waller, because Grayson Waller just has that natural charisma. Not to mention, he used to be a teacher. He was in all these real there's these shows before. He's had this experience.
Yeah.
That doesn't make him like nervous in front of a camera, nervous in front of people. Whereas sometimes even with wrestlers, they go out in front of people, but they still have a weird thing when it comes to the interactive skill.
Yeah.
Which again, that Austin Theory does somewhat fall under that, because if you ever watch like some of the stuff he just does like backstage, dude is a natural, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I honestly believe like we're going to be talking in the next 10 years about him being a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
It's just insane to think that this guy is 27, like 25, 27. Still?
And he gets it already.
He's very dedicated, as we see with his physique. Like you can tell that he puts in a lot of work. He has that work ethic, because if you're going to look good in wrestling, you need to put in the work. And if you're going to look good for a long period of time, that means you have a dedication to that craft. On top of that, see what he does for the Make-A-Wish and all of that. He follows the John Cena blueprint, which is a very good blueprint to follow.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it'll be interesting to see when they turn Theory babyface finally.
He needs to connect with the crowd more, or else I fear he's going to have an Alex Riley type turn. And I think he's better than the Alex Riley turn.
Yeah, Alex Riley to me was a natural heel. Turning him babyface that soon was not good.
I thought the turn was great. It's just it flatlined very quickly because he didn't have that natural connection with the crowd.
Yeah.
Like you took Alex Riley away from the Miz, who was Alex Riley, and that laid your problem. Yeah. It just seemed like people liked his theme song better than they liked the performer.
Yeah, because nowhere to lie, I think it was the 2012 Rumble that he showed up in after like months of not being on TV. I'm like, who's this guy? I like his theme song.
You should say it to his face.
I probably would if he ever came up here.
Oh, see, that's where I would have loved it if Cody Rhodes gave that little thing to Theory.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little smack on the table, roll back in, then you have it. And what Theory did was meaningful instead of him taking an unnecessary shot. I think sometimes sometimes I don't know who gets more of a rough end of the stick, JD McDonough or Austin Theory. Oh, just reading the lips of KO is fantastic.
KO's been on fire tonight. His promo interrupting the Grayson Waller effect was just awesome. It was friggin' hilarious. I highly recommend going back to watch it just for the laugh.
Well, I will go back because I will rewatch SmackDown at 11.
Can't you just not like record it while you watch it and then you can just watch it right after?
No.
Oh yeah, you don't. Your service doesn't have PVR capability, eh?
No.
That's the one thing I'm going to miss on the Netflix stuff.
Yep, me too. Although, if I'm assuming it's probably going to be made available right away to rewatch, anyways.
Yeah, that's going to be the interesting part.
Yeah, like I'll probably be able to get home from work now on a Friday night and start SmackDown right from the beginning.
Yeah, then you'll be like 20 minutes behind me when we're doing the Smackdown Security Detail.
Yeah,
I think I would like to see Grayson Waller bring back the teardrop suplex.
I
Not
would
Grayson
love for
Waller,
that.
Austin Theory, sorry. Also, I'm kind of finding it weird. Like I remember Theory in pants. I thought like he looked weird in pants, but I'm not a big fan of his short look. So I'm wondering if he needs to go down to trunks or where I sit with that, or just better pants. His pants were kind of boring.
See, I only ever remember Theory with the shorts.
Go back to the pandemic stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say, didn't he do the pants when he was
With Zelina and Andrade and all, yeah.
Yeah.
That was right when he came, right from Evolve, and it was kind of when he went back to, I think it was like shortly after. I think he made the transition during the pandemic, to be honest. Oh, kick stunner.
To be fair, sometimes though I don't understand Grayson Waller's gear. Is it just because like did he used to be a boxer or something like that
Yes.
before coming in? Okay,
Yes.
so it's a little bit of a tribute to his past career then.
I also think too, like he's not a traditional wrestling guy.
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact they're bringing back the pop-up powerbomb as a main move.
Yeah.
And that's like maybe like why I think maybe like he is turning heel, because the powerbomb is more of a heel move than a stunner.
Right.
The stunner gets more of a pop than a powerbomb.
Yeah.
So if they establish the powerbomb, then maybe as a heel, he'll bring back the apron powerbomb.
Well, they kind of emphasized the apron powerbomb when they showed Cody a video package of every time Kevin Owens turned on somebody earlier tonight.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's because when he did it, yeah. Like, when was the last time he actually did turn on anyone? It's been a while.
It has.
The last one was surprisingly Sami Zayn, and that was during the pandemic. That was 4 or 5 years ago. Well, 4 years ago, yeah.
Okay, so that one's official now. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
This one to me still doesn't. Should be Finn. Like, you have think Gunther and Randy are main eventing this show, right?
Oh yeah, it's closing the show.
Like,
It has to. And I think you're opening with Punk and Drew. Or, as we heard earlier tonight, do we open with LA Knight's Open Challenge?
That's actually next week's SmackDown, not on the PLE.
Really?
Yeah.
Because he said he was going to Berlin to do it.
SmackDown's in Berlin next week too. And no heel turn.
why would there be?
Wasn't going to be tonight.
There was a tease though. The way he stomped up to to Cody and handed him the title made it look like he was going to crack him with the belt.
You don't get anything right away anymore. You gotta
Nope.
earn it.
If there's going to be a heel turn, it'll be at Bash of Berlin.
See, I don't even think there will be then. I think that's when we're gonna get like another, like, if anything, tease.
1 minute. Oh, I guess we got to close the show, don't we?
Yeah, it's the end of the show.
I know.
So why don't we hand out them socials before you go flying off on us, OMD? If I can find those socials, that would be awesome.
He's
There
got to
they are.
hold it though. Oh,
Yeah, he does, 'cause,
full, man.
He does, because we're going to throw the socials to you, Parrish, first of all. Where can people find you?
On the ticker below, or in my house if you know where I live. But no, come check out. Go check out my link tree down there below. You'll get all my socials: Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, and all that. Speaking of those three, you can see the Chris Parrish podcast on those three platforms. And this week is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. And perhaps I might even talk AEW. Weird. But yeah, you want to check that out 12:15 p.m. Eastern time. And yeah, so go check that out. And go to that beautiful rogueenergy.com as I did today, where I made a purchase at Rogue Energy, and you can save 10% using my promo code PARISH.
All right. And for myself, you can find me at youtube.com at CBRS Entertainment, twitch.tv CBRS_entertainment, threads.net at CBSFilms83, facebook.com Chris.best83, tiktok.com CBRS.entertainment, and now OMD, over to you.
People can find me on the Book of Faces, Daniel Harisic, HRYCYK, on Snapchat at One Man Dynamic, capitals on OM and D, on Twitch at OMD17, and Discord OMD6370.
All right. And what are those immortal words that you like to go out on there, OMD?
In the immortal words of Carl Carafel, the world is a scary place. Take care of each other. From all of us here at the Boar's Nest, Turnbuckle Studios, and CBRS Entertainment, to those of you out there, wherever you are, good night, good luck, we out.
I'll be there when you're down, when you're losing your crown, till the afterglow, the afterglow. Fading away, you look so great when you gotta shine. One more part of you is gone now, as you keep smiling at the crowd. Pressure is your best enemy, spotlights show what they wanna see. Sometimes it feels like you're under attack, you just can't break free. I'll be there when you're down, when you're losing your crown, till the afterglow, the afterglow. I'll be there when you fall, when you're losing it all, in the afterglow, in the afterglow. Whoa! It all started with the passion, it all sounded like a dream. Remember how you kept on laughing, now you're trapped in your own skin. The